Here's another thing I was thinking before I go. Well, this is just going to all be about doing the Fenway gig. I was thinking about all the gigs that I did that led up there. I remember when I was living in New York, you know, after I did stand-up for 3.5 years, I moved down to New York, and then I came back, and I headlined Spaghetti Freddy's, which to me is one of the worst names ever for a restaurant. There's just something about it rhyming. It's just silly. It just doesn't make me feel like you're going to take anything seriously. Spaghetti Freddy, like they're just going to, you know, reach into the pot with a big spoon, swirl it around, and then pull out a bunch of spaghetti, and then just throw it, like hang onto the spoon and just zing it across the room. Did you have spaghetti? So I played the basement of Spaghetti Freddy's on Route 1 in Norwood, right next to that golfing driving range, and there was a Howard Johnson's across the parking lot, and I did fucking stand up there too over the years. I think if you go up Route 1, at some point every restaurant had an open mic or something like that, or Nick's Comedy Stop. Like Nick's Comedy Stop, I remember had tired here. Nick's Comedy Stop had like these satellite rooms. They had their downtown main room, and then they would have them like in Chinese restaurants, or there was like this fucking like nightclub ballroom looking place out on Framingham on Route 9. There was one in Randolph's at like the Holiday Inn. There was the Maui in Brockton, Mass, with the highest fucking stage ever. It was like you were standing on top of a refrigerator box, except it was solid. I remember that you were way up in the air on this little fucking postage stamp of a stage. For some fucking reason, like your feet were like 5 feet above the heads of the people sitting down in the front row. I don't know why. And the room wasn't even that big. They just had you up there. I don't know what. I felt like you were in Superman talking to Lauren Green or some shit. Anyway, and then they had the Kowloon in Saugus, another Chinese restaurant. Just all of those gigs came back. But I remember when I did Spaghetti Freddy's, they had a function room down in the basement. Sorry, yawning here. I fucking went. When I tell you, dude, like there was like 8 people in the crowd. There was like, and I knew like 6 of them. It was like, you know, my family members came out and a couple of their friends, and then there was like a 2-top of strangers. And I'm trying to play this fucking gig by just looking over everybody's head, because I actually am related to 80% of the crowd. And I still somehow had like a decent set, but I just remember, being really embarrassed. I don't even think it was embarrassing at that point in my career, because I wasn't selling any tickets. I think that the victory was, as shitty as this gig is, I am headlining it. I've worked my way up to headlining the basement of a Spaghetti Freddy's in Norwood, Massachusetts. So I think on some level, I felt like my career was still moving forward, while at the same time, I was also thinking, like, are you really headlining on a gig like this, or are you more just sort of going on last? And I still think I had an okay set. And I don't know. Yeah, there was just a lot of those moments that I guess should have been like humiliating enough to make you want to think about doing another job. But like, if you love doing stand-up, that never enters your head. You just sort of look at it was just funny stories to tell your friends. Yeah, I played a place called Spaghetti Freddy's, basically in front of my family members and a couple people I went to high school with, and this random couple. Oh my God. I just remember too, like the fucking. I remember across the parking lot, between the driving range, between the two places was a driving range, and that other place was a Howard Johnson's. And I remember playing the lounge area, and it actually ended up being I actually killed. It was a crowded bar, and no one was fucking really listening. And I went up there and I improv something that got people to pay attention, and I was actually able to get on a little bit of a roll and did like 5 minutes. And I got off stage, and there was this comedian, Greg Carey, who I had not seen in like 20 years, who showed up to my gig in Queens, New York with Tommy Amato. And it was so great to see him. Another guy who was always nice to me, just like Tony V, and would help you out and everything. Was not, I'm not, some of it, it was just when I started, and stand-up was in a nosedive. It was like in a free fall coming out of the 80s, where all of a sudden people just didn't want to go out to comedy clubs anymore. And it was like a housing bubble, except with stand-up. And all of these rooms were collapsing, and the work was not really drying up as much as it was coming back down to like the level that it should have been at, and a lot of people were getting squeezed out. So there was a lot of bitter headliners, and Greg Carey and Tony V were never like that, because they were both funny guys, so they weren't like nervous. They knew that they were going to be fine, I guess. I don't know, or they're just good people. I have no idea. So anyway, yeah, I remember fucking bombing there. I'm just going to be telling stories the whole fucking time. All of my early day gigs. Like Route 1 to me is an amazing like highway, because when I'm on the North Shore, that's all like my childhood when I was really, really young. And some of the places that I played, not just the Kowloon or Giggles, if you kept going up north, I remember Alan the Monkeys, which was had Dane Cook. It was a sketch group. They'd all do stand-up, and then they'd do sketch in the end. It was Dane Cook, Bobby Kelly, Al Del Benny, and oh my God, I'm old. What was the last kid's name? It'll come to me. And I opened for them. They booked themselves in like this fucking Elks Club or some shit like that, because they had won the BCN Comedy Riot at Stitches, and they were trying to headline their own show or whatever. And like we were all young, and we didn't know how to promote shit. And there was like fucking like 5 people there, and I remember all of us, we were just like, they were like embarrassed, but they were also like laughing. And I was laughing. And it was kind of this fun moment, because we were all so young, and it felt cool to me to be doing their gig, because everybody else's gig that I was doing had been doing it like 20 years, and they were like legends of Boston comedy, and we were just a bunch of young punks. And as much as nobody showed up, it was still, I was working, a show from these people that were part of my graduating class. And long story short, whatever, it was comedy death, but like we all supported each other and laughed at each other's jokes. Yeah, all the way up there. Rob Steen used to have gigs up there. All of these guys, I just remember all of these fucking gigs. All the way up to like, I remember working bars in like Revere. Remember Dick Doherty's had like rooms all over the place, like fucking Drake It and Danvers and all of these fucking places over the years. And I think, I don't know, just driving around waiting for this fucking giant gig. All of those memories came back. It was just a really, really cool time. So I apologize that I'm being old Billy Reminisce here. I don't feel like I've been even remotely funny on this one. Let's get to some of your questions. Maybe we can get to some comedy here.